Okay, the class monitor not in yet. Yeah, so sorry about that, Mataji. I thought the volume is going on. Probably it's because I was muted. Usually I never did screen sharing. Usually I will share the video or PowerPoints as a portion of something. It's like advanced sharing. So I never tried the screen sharing and I thought the music comes automatically. So I think I should unmute myself next time. Okay, so welcome again. Good evening, everyone. Jai Jagannatha Baladev Subhatra. Let's go for a mini kirtan. Anybody would like to lead or should I start? Mataji can see and hear me, right? Okay, let me start first. Okay, then everybody will go, all right? Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Iti Namine. Everyone, Namo
Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine
Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pattadishatarine
Namaste
Namaste
Saraswati Devi
Gauravani
Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasatya Dishatarine
Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda
Jaya Shri
Shri
Krishna
Krishna
Chaitanya
Chaitanya Prabhu
Prabhu Nityananda
Nityananda
Shri
Shri
Advaita
Advaita
Gadadha Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Hare
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 Rama
Rama
Hare
Hare Rama
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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare
Carry on.
Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Krishna
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 Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare
Hare
Hare Rama
Rama
Hare
Hare
Rama
Rama Rama
Hare
Rama
Rama
Hare
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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna
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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare
Rama
Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everyone, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Haribo! All
Haribo.
glories to all the Matajis, all the saints.
Yay!
Thanks,
Haribo.
Mataji. Hey, Prabhupada. So before that, we just offer our prayers to spiritual teachers. Om Ajnana Tirandhasya.
Jala Salakaya
Can everyone just
Chaksurunmilitam Yena
Tasmai
Tasmai
Shri
Sri
Gurave
Gurave
Namaha.
Namaha Namo
Namo Vishnupadaya
Vishnupadaya
Krishna
Krishna
Prasthaya Bhutale
Prestaya Bhutale Srimati
Bhakti
Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatyaje Sadarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Ram.
Rama 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 Hare Hare
Haribo.
Hari Bol
Glory to Srila Prabhupada.
Ki Jai.
Now, this energizer question here. Speak your mind. What would you tell someone who is about to die? Very, very crucial time. That will be your last words to them. So who would like to share? I shared this question earlier, so just in case you have somebody has prepared what to speak now, what would you like to share? Anyone? Or have you ever said something when that somebody was passing away? Have you done something like that? And what did you say? Or what is your plan if you want to say something? You wish you could say this to that person before they go on.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, please proceed.
You always say your responsibility, your work, everything already done.
Wow.
We say you're done, you're finished already your work here in this world. So your children all grow up. So you can go peacefully and put out everything, don't take anything, just go peacefully. Everything is done. It means your work, responsibility, everything done.
So basically, you want the person to move on without any worries in their head,
Yes.
right? Okay, very nice, Mataji. Very nice sharing. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prema Mataji. Carry on.
Mine was with my grandma. So she was very ill and she was admitted in the hospital. And of course, the doctors already announced she can't last long. So we all were beside her. And as we are doing this, I chose to sit beside her ears. And I was just chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra.
Is she a
I
devotee?
didn't say
Mataji?
anything. because I was not sure whether she can hear me or not, and she was very weak and all that. So I was just making sure I was beside her ears, just chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare continuously until her last breath.
Okay, so you actually saw her leaving, huh?
Yes.
She a devotee, Mataji?
Sorry, Mataji?
She a devotee, your grandma?
No, she's not, but she prays to Rama. Because we Telugus normally pray to Lord Rama.
Right.
Anything happens, you always say Rama, Rama, Rama. You know?
Yeah, okay, that's not too far. Okay,
Yeah.
somehow the
Yeah.
accent will be there, right? Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji. So before we move on,
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Mataji, anybody else who like to share? So we have a guest today, Punita Mataji. So Punita Mataji, this level 3 is actually more of an interaction, half explanation. So at any time you want to share your thoughts, you can always, just jump in and speak, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. I just wanted to see how a Gita Gyan course is conducted. And then it so happened I spoke to Ai Mataji today and I asked if she could share, and then she shared to me.
Okay. So at this energizer question, Mataji, do you have anything to share with us?
Basically, I think I will, because now that I've been to Hare Krishna movement, I would probably tell them to chant, think of the Lord, that's basically,
Haribol.
And don't think about your children or anybody else. Just think about God. Because basically we are eternal souls, right? So that would be or chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra if they can.
Right. Thank you for sharing, Mataji. So there's one time I was very new. I was chanting, and then suddenly I saw a pigeon was dying. It was like it was lying down on its back. I know already the pigeon is going to go off already. So I just increased the volume of my chanting. I chanted for, I don't know for how many minutes. Finally, I saw it opened his mouth wide and then it died. So that was the only one time that I did that for a dying living entity. So far, I've done to a living, a person, human being. I've not done that. But anyway, that gives me great satisfaction knowing that there will be some significance in the pigeon's life in the next birth. Okay, so why we are doing
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Mataji, when there are two components, Mataji, in this question. One is when we did not know Krishna, we did not know about the chanting. One is, of course, after. But before, Mataji, those very younger days, I'm telling, when I had not come into Krishna consciousness or no, my husband's sister-in-law, she, that I'm a nurse, right? So, so she wasn't well. So we brought her here and we were nursing her. And then when she was on this, where you're asking, like, what would you tell someone? So she was diagnosed of peritoneum, ovary cancers at that time, so she used to have a very bulging belly. So she was diagnosed with cancer. But what would you tell someone who is about to die? You will, I don't know if any one of you went through this or not, but I did. So I actually went and told her, look here, she kept on asking me. So she said, what is my disease? Why? So I actually told her, look here, you have got cancer, the stomach, the viral, all spread ready. So like that, you've got cancer. And then she asked me, so no medicine? Have you ever heard about medicine for cancer? Don't have, right? So what? Like that, I said, that was in my 20s, Mataji. Can you imagine?
What best could you tell her to pacify her?
Yeah, so you actually think that you are telling the right thing, to a dying person. Yeah, you got cancer and how to cure? No cure what? What to do? I really said this, I remember still. But of course, later, in a couple of years' time, I came to know about Krishna and Krishna consciousness. And what a vast difference it makes, Mataji, the strength of Krishna and his holy name is brings such a drastic change and perspective of how you see things after that, and what you should tell them, or what how to take it. So when my mom passed away 6 months ago, my mom had such an awesome send-off, actually I should say, because my nephew is a Hare Krishna devotee, so am I. So we could actually chant the holy name like for hours, and my mother laughed on that, hearing those awesome words of Krishna. So this is my experience. Thank you all ladies for listening to me.
Yeah, that's a wonderful comparison that you're making, Mataji, before KC and after KC. So now you know what to say. That time you were innocent. You were saying very frankly, right? That's very straightforward thing, and you don't know what would be thinking in their mind. Right? So yeah, why we are very concerned about what do we tell these people when they're about to move on, because we know that they're perplexed about that. They don't know what's going to happen to them after death, and then they don't know what they don't know. What they don't know what is on the other side waiting. They don't know what are they fear of things that they don't understand. Even if we do not have any spiritual knowledge, we also wouldn't know. So probably we will tell the things like Indra Mataji said, okay, this is what happened to you, this is gonna happen. So it's like a more of a diagnosis that she's giving. But if you know the person's spiritual journey, then we will tell differently. We will give different things to them. Okay, and what Yashoda Mai Mataji shared is also very nice. That is also can comfort them. Okay, it is your time. You are done with your duties. You have met your purpose, and it's time for you to move on. Yeah. So, so thanks for sharing, Mataji. So what we're going to discuss today is what's going to happen after we die. All right. So that's why this week 8 is about reincarnation. Okay, so this topic, I would say, is not entirely new to all of you, because we have covered this in level 1, level 2, and a couple of chapters in level 3 as well. But we will see a different angles to that. Okay, so before that, we have to do recap. Okay, let's see what you can remember from week 7. Defects of man in Kali Yuga. Can somebody give me, just tell me what are the few characteristics of people in Kali Yuga?
Short life.
Yes. Some more? It's either you remember what we learned in last week's class, or generally what do you think of people in Kali Yuga like? What is their characteristics?
Lazy. Quarrel.
Lazy? Easily quarrel, yes.
Short length of life.
Yes, short-lived. That's right. Short duration of life. Always quarrel. Lazy.
Misguided.
Misguided, yes. Mataji wrote down,
Few lah.
Okay. And maybe 2 more.
Hypocrisy. Hypocrisy.
Unhappy, okay. Always something.
Always
Which is-
disturbed. Always
Yes, always disturbed and unlucky. All right, so these are the defects of man of Kali Yuga. Okay, remember what was the topic last week?
Defects of man in Kali Yuga, right?
No, that is what led to the topic that we did last week. So what was the topic last week?
glories of the
Was
holy
it
name.
how
Glories
to
of the holy
defy,
name?
isn't it?
Yes, glories of the holy name, correct. So before we could understand why holy name, so we want to understand the characteristics of people in Kali Yuga, because that was the recommended Yuga Dharma. So what is this Yuga Dharma? How do you actually define this Yuga Dharma? Somebody new, totally. What is this Yuga Dharma, Mataji? So how do you explain in your own words? Maybe 1 or 2 lines also will do. What is Yuga Dharma? Dharma means religious principle. Yuga means age, right? So we don't want the direct translation. How do you define it? For a person newly. learning this term, Yuga Dharma. Come on, Matajis, come on. We have so many slides to go. This is just a recap of last week. And we have done Yuga Dharma so many times.
Yeah, but you said that there are 4 types of that yuga, right, Mataji?
Okay, 4 yugas, all right. So, Dharma.
4 yugas, and then you went on to say that signs, like in Kali Yuga, we are like thinking of wealth alone, and signs of something. That much only. I can remember that there was the 4 yugas that you were talking about.
Okay.
That
are
time
4 yugas.
Meditation we were doing, then
Correct.
we were sacrifice, then we were thinking of temple, we were doing temple worship. Only in Kali Yuga we are doing chanting.
Okay, can you repeat that, Mataji?
So
Let's come from
now-
Satya Yuga.
Yeah, so in Satya Yuga we were
The
meditating.
process of self-realization is
Meditation. In
Okay,
Tirtha
next we
Yuga was sacrifice, perform sacrifice.
Yagya, yes. Third,
And Dwapar Yuga, we were temple worshipping.
we worship temple, yes.
And then now is Kali Yuga, it should be chanting.
Yes, that is the Yuga Dharma.
Ah,
So every Yuga has its own Dharma, the Dharma that is very applicable during that age. When it comes to Kali Yuga, purely holy, because we cannot do meditation for thousands of years like before. We cannot do fire sacrifices because it's very difficult to get pure ingredients, pure brahmana, pure, there's no purity. And it's also not cheap to do yagya. And
yeah.
we can't, not everybody can do deity worship, not everybody can do temple build. Okay, some people are poor, so which means what? They cannot, embark on a spiritual journey. So, holy name is the easiest. So, what is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prediction in scriptures? So, this one, I'm not sure if you all remember, but I can just tell that Mahaprabhu actually said in Kali Yuga, one can't achieve perfection of life by being a bookworm. So you cannot just read book and then you become a spiritual bookworm and then you attain perfection. So you can't do that. Okay, one can attain salvation only by chanting the holy names of Krishna. Okay, and the importance of holy names in Kali Yuga. Okay, that's the easiest method. Why chant Hare Krishna? Anybody remember what story we learned last week? The story of somebody's journey. Who was that? Whose journey was that? One Muni. We saw the story of a Muni. And then next birth he got a wonderful life. Who was that? What Muni story is that?
Jamila.
No, not okay. Yeah, Jamila also. But before that,
Narada Muni, is it?
Yes, Mataji, Narada Muni. Yes, Narada Muni briefly meditated and he got a brief darshan of Lord Vishnu. But then Lord Vishnu disappeared. And then he searched for Lord Vishnu. He went on from place to place, but simply by chanting. And then when he died, the next birth he came. The next birth he became so previously he was somebody else. Okay, through the holy name chanting of holy name, he attained perfection and he gotten the birth of Narada Muni, a very elevated birth. Okay, why chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna? This we did not touch last week.
Yes.
But after anybody would like to read this? Come on, Mataji, somebody can read for us, please.
Kajal Mataji, where you? Kajal Mataji.
Kajal Mataji, you are Mari.
Mari.
Sini. Kajal Mataji here only, very tired from her trip from Langkawi.
Request.
Okay. Kajal Mataji will read. Hare Krishna. Why chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna? One round means 1,728 names, and 16 rounds means 27,648 names. Now, that's the average number of breaths an average healthy person takes in 24 hours. So, for each breath, one name. That way, our life is devoted to Krishna, and that way, one can be blessed. If one needs more blessings, then can chant more of the holy names. It was actually that one was to chant 64 rounds each day, which takes close to about 8 hours, as one must try to chant 100 crores, which is about 1 billion, names in his life to be eligible to be with Krishna in Golok Vrindavan. But our founder, Acharya Srila Prabhupada, said, when he saw that in his age, it's not possible for us to do that so much, he reduced it to 32 rounds each day. Still, when devotees were complaining on it, he said, okay, chant minimum 16 rounds, no less, which takes around 2 hours. So it's special mercy of Srila Prabhupada, who has fixed minimum 16 rounds to be chanted daily, preferably in early morning hours, as that time is in mode of goodness.
Rainbow, nice Mataji, nice to hear you.
Nice. Yeah, she reads well also.
Yeah, like
Tend to
Mataji already
listen.
had this before,
We
right?
tend to listen to her.
Ayo, thank you so much,
So
Mataji. Thank
Mataji,
you. It's my
don't go
pleasure.
missing too long. Okay, see, Malamari Mataji also said cantik. Okay, thank you Mataji. So yeah, this is the reason, 16 rounds. Okay, we are supposed to be doing 64, but due to the mercy of the Acharya, it has been reduced to 16 rounds. But no worries, no stress. Just whatever, continuously do whatever rounds you're doing, but consistent. And then gradually you can increase. This is the first lesson in spiritual life. What was the first question? There were 3 questions, right? Anybody can remember all the 3 questions that human beings ask that animals don't ask?
Am I?
What was the 3? Who am I? Correct.
What am I doing here? What's my purpose? Start the one.
Mataji, mana ada? Only the first one is correct. What is the second one?
Who is
The
God?
first one was who am I, is it?
Yes, first one is who am I? Second?
Who is God?
Was it why am I suffering? No.
Yes, very good. Third one?
Third one was
Bukan nota, bukan nota.
Yeah, can hear her flipping through the pages.
yeah. Have to at this age. Was it like what we look for? No.
No, Mataji. Who is?
Who is God?
Yeah.
Yes.
Who is what? Up in
These
there.
3 questions you always remember. That is why you all are sitting here.
Yeah.
Okay,
Everybody
so
must.
yeah, so I am not the body but a spirit soul. So in which chapter Krishna spoke about soul and body in great length? Which chapter is
2.
that?
2.
Chapter 2. Very
2,
nice.
2.
Correct. Okay, 10 markah. Okay, so let's watch a video. Okay. Can hear my- Here, right?
Yes.
German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer, in his book Parega
Oh, sorry. So anybody has your mic? Okay.
and Paralipomena II, states, were an Asiatic to ask me for a definition of Europe, I should be forced to answer him, it is that part of the world which is haunted by the incredible delusion that man was created out of nothing and that his present birth is his first entrance into life. Reincarnation, the idea that we return in another body after the death of our current body, has fascinated people throughout history. Wisdom traditions all over the globe, throughout most of known history, have considered reincarnation as an integral tenet of their worldviews. Even pharaonic Egypt, polytheistic Greece and Rome, Taoism, Zoroastrianism, and a global potpourri of ethnic shamanism and tribal beliefs accepted reincarnation. Considering the overwhelming global acceptance of reincarnation, it is no wonder that Schopenhauer considered the European disbelief in reincarnation as an incredible delusion. With the global expansion of European colonialism, disbelief in reincarnation spread to the West and the westernized parts of the world. Still, even today, 1/3 of the world population believes in reincarnation. And interestingly, even in the skeptical West, a significant number of eminent personalities have always accepted reincarnation. To name a renowned few would be Italian philosopher Giordano Bruno, Greek mathematician Pythagoras, Greek philosopher Plato, French philosopher François Voltaire, US statesman, philosopher and inventor Benjamin Franklin, German poet and dramatist Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, English poet William Wordsworth, American philosopher and writer Ralph Waldo Emerson, German composer Richard Wagner, American social critic, writer and philosopher Henry David Thoreau, Russian novelist and social critic Leo Tolstoy, American writer Mark Twain, English playwright George Bernard Shaw, American automobile pioneer Henry Ford, English writers Rudyard Kipling and W. Somerset Maugham, Swiss psychiatrist and psychologist Carl Jung, and American novelist and short story writer Isaac Bashevis Singer. In addition to these eminent Western thinkers who accepted reincarnation, today even the general populace is increasingly accepting it. According to a survey conducted by the Pew Research Forum in 2009, nearly 24% of Americans believe in reincarnation. Similar statistics have been found for European countries, to be changing since Schopenhauer's wry observation.
Okay, so it's not only a couple of few people or couple of people who are believing in reincarnation. Great philosophers and leaders also have started to believe, and the population in general also, there's an increase in belief in reincarnations. Okay, who can tell me which sloka in chapter 2 speaks about the changing of the body of the soul? Is in chapter 2. Very famous verse. We have done this verse so many times. Whoever can recall, can share. Or maybe you can tell us the meaning if you don't remember the Sanskrit sloka or some understanding. What does that sloka say? Anyone? The clue is...
Is it 2.13? Yeah.
Oh my God, Mataji, you are so fantastic, Mataji. I was about to give the clue 2.30. Looks like this group, I don't have to give clue already. Okay, what is that sloka, Mataji?
As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body, from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change.
Haribo, very good, Mataji. I'm so happy. Yes, that is the sloka.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so this is the sloka 2.13. Okay, this is the ABCs of the Bhagavad-Gita. Okay, so here this is where Krishna starts bringing in the concept of the soul. Okay, all right. So remember the body, the bird in the cage. The lady, wipes, keeps the cage very clean, but she forgets to feed the bird, and eventually the bird died because the bird was not fed. Only the cage was maintained. Okay, so most of the time we are very engrossed in taking care of the body and neglecting the need of the soul. Okay, so we won't sit on this. Okay, so many times we did already. All right. Does everyone's soul go back to God when they die? Okay, so we will see that. Okay, so basically dying is like this. All right, we all get our body based on our activities in this life. Okay, the body that we have gotten now is because of the activities and our consciousness, our impressions from our previous life. Okay, same thing like a disease. When you contract disease, then after the incubation period, you develop the disease. Okay, so similarly, during this life, you are associating with the various modes of material nature. So imagine this is the disease. So it will take time for you to develop that. Okay, so imagine how many lifetimes that we have passed through and developing this kind of nature, this kind of consciousness. Okay, and what are we associating with, and all this will decide the kind of body that we are going to get in the next life. Okay, remember in the last 6th chapter of Bhagavad-Gita, the Jnana Yoga, Krishna spoke on the laws of nature. Okay, so this is how when we are pure soul. When we come into contact with of the material nature, then contamination happens and we are becoming conditioned, and then we try to enjoy again and again and again, and that's why we are coming back. Okay, so our next birth is decided based on our activities, sinful or pious, both also. All right. And then remember the wardrobe that we said, like Kajai Mataji was changing so many number of clothes in a day, in a normal day. Okay, like a few weeks back we discussed that. And then similarly, we also, this soul also have a wardrobe, can choose which dress you want to take. Okay, so remember how many clothes we have in our wardrobe for the soul? How many millions? Give me a round figure, a big figure. How many wardrobes that the soul has? How many bodies that the soul can take? So basically what I'm asking is, how many species of lives are there for us to transmigrate?
8.6 million.
Yes. Would we want to see what is that breakdown? How can it be 8.6 million species of life? Let's see. Even the Sastras have given the breakdown. That's amazing. Can somebody read for us? Just the English will do. Come, Mataji, fast.
Okay, I can read.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. There are 900,000 species living in the water. There are also 2 million non-moving living entities, stavara, such as trees and plants. There are also 1,100,000 species of insects and reptiles, and there are 1 million species of birds. As far as quadrupeds are concerned, there are 3 million varieties and there are 400,000 human species.
Yes, can you see that the last one? We will be very proud that we have finally got a human life. But then there are 400,000 human species. That's why not all humans are same. Okay?
Oh,
All right.
Mataji, how do we differentiate between the human species? How did we come with 400,000? I thought we were just one species. No.
I think it's this different consciousness, or it could be, there are so many other living entities in other planets. So it could be that, like the aliens, they are also, I think so, La Mataji, because I've not seen an explanation how the 400,000 human species came about.
Oh, are
Yeah,
they
like
talking about, sorry, I'm saying this, like maybe people like, okay, you, with people with special abilities, you can be blind. Maybe maybe that falls in a part of a species. That's just my assumption.
Yeah, I'm not very sure on that, Mataji. Even 4,000 also, I think my mind cannot process. If 400,000, I really don't know how the 400,000 human species came about.
40 also, I cannot think.
That's right. Yeah, so but I would be thinking if it's spiritually concerned, that it could be the consciousness, maybe. But I'll try to find out something on this, Mataji, how they actually got this. Okay. All right. So, can somebody guess what body we would have had before we became a human in this life? there are 3 gateways to become human. I probably would have shared in one of the classes. Anybody
I
repeat?
think I was a human in my previous life.
Okay,
Cow,
so before you
cow.
became a human,
I
Before
was a cow.
who
I
was
think I
that?
was a bird.
Who was the cow? Kajai Mataji, you. Did you say that?
No, it wasn't me. It
I,
wasn't me.
Indra Mataji.
yeah.
So how did you know, Mataji? Did you check something? Or you were just guessing?
Kumataji Mia.
Yeah. You are the one who said cow, right? In your previous life.
Alah, sure you told lah. You told previous classes
I
you
said.
told.
Okay. So there were 3 animals being the gateway for human life. And similarly, there are 3 gateways for human to become animal. So the other 3, it's not covered here, but I'll try to recall after this slide. Okay, so yeah, we have these 3 animals. Okay, cow. Okay, so Vedic Shastra says the birth of human being are from 3 sources. One from the cow, one from the lion, one from the monkey. Okay, whoever coming in the sattva guna, if a person who's generally very sattvi, very gentle, like Indra Mataji, she is from the mode of goodness, so the last birth would have been cow. Okay, this is an example. If a person who's in very passionate mode, the last birth would have been lion. And those who are coming through the tamoguna means ignorance, the last birth would have been monkey. Okay, so this is mentioned in the sastras. Okay, so, and I have read somewhere the 3 gateways from human to animal kingdom is I only remember tortoise. The other 2 I don't remember. Dog. Okay, tortoise, dog, one more, which means if you are seeing a tortoise or dog, they would have been human in the past birth. Okay, I forgot the other one. Okay, all right. So we were talking about transmigration, right? Remember how transmigration, when aroma, when the wind passed by a nice rose garden, very nice, fragrant, so that wind will have nice smell. But if the wind goes through piles of garbage, then you will have the smell of garbage. Okay, so similarly, we are also carrying the impressions from our previous lives. Can we have somebody to read this English translation, please? Prema Mataji? Mataji, not there. Tamari Mataji?
Bhagavad-Gita 15.8 to 9. The living entity in the material world carries its different conceptions of life from one body to another. As the air carries aromas, thus he takes one kind of body and again quits it to take another. The living entity, thus taking another gross body, obtain a certain type of ears, eyes, tongues, nose, and sense of touch, which are grouped about the mind. He thus enjoys a particular set of sense objects.
All right, thank you, Mataji. So you can see we are taking the next gross body based on whatever we have been enjoying, whether we enjoy eating or seeing something or smelling something or hearing something. So we will get a body that will have a very prominent sense in the next body, in the next gross body. So he thus enjoys a particular set of sense objects. Okay, so this one also we have covered in level 1 and level 2. We move on. In other words, if the living entity adulterates his consciousness with the qualities of cats and dogs in his next life, he gets a cat or dog body and enjoys. So that way, Krishna is so kind. Oh, okay, you like to have this kind of enjoyment? Okay, let you have that body because you like to enjoy certain enjoy particular set of sense objects. So you will have that. Okay, so like this, we can decide what we want to be. Okay, this one we have covered in Who Am I? This is the near-death experience, out-of-body experience, okay? And then past life memories. Remember the girl, she can remember the name of the husband, the name of the children. She also remembers where she hidden the money, and she went there, the money is not there, but the place is there. So all this we have covered earlier, and this is also touching on reincarnation. So we have another video here.
Let's consider the 4 areas of scientific studies which strongly point to reincarnation. 1. Hypnotically induced past life memories. 2. Spontaneous past life memories. 3. Near-death experiences and out-of-body experiences. And 4. The phenomenon of consciousness. Let us consider the first, hypnotically induced past life memories. When trained hypnotists help people to recollect their past going back to their childhood, infancy, and earlier, research has shown that more than 90% of all hypnotizable persons furnish memories that indicate previous lives.
The past life is accessed through accessing the subconscious. And because subconscious has all the memories, perfect memory bank, from the time we started our journey as a human being.
Let's turn to the second, spontaneous past life memories among children.
I worked with several children. They all remembered their last life. It was amazing. And then when they go to school, they sort of get brainwashed and forget it. Only later, 20 or 30 years, should they experience some spontaneous memory or undergo hypnotic experience, do they remember? But my experience with children is up until they go to school, almost all of them had some glimmer and could tell me what they were, who they were, and what they did in their past life.
Let's move on to the third among the scientific evidences for reincarnation: near-death experiences, NDEs, and out-of-body experiences, OBEs. Near-death experiences, or NDEs, are experiences of extraordinary visions and perceptions during periods of unconsciousness among people who are medically dead or nearly dead, due to causes like accidents, diseases, surgeries, or attempted suicides. These people returned from the dead or the near-dead to tell us their amazing experiences. NDEs and OBEs have been investigated by researchers from across the globe.
All of us people investigating near-death experiences see the same pattern of elements. Often one of the first things to happen right after that life-threatening event, often the first element of a near-death experience, is what's called an out-of-body experience. Consciousness separates from the body and goes over the body. From that vantage point, they can see ongoing earthly events, which may include their own frantic resuscitation efforts. After that, they may go into or through a tunnel. Often at the end of the tunnel is a beautiful, mystical, unearthly light. And then once they pass into that area of light, they may be in unearthly landscapes. Often they're described as being beautiful without any comparison on Earth. There may be colors there that are so beautiful that they don't even exist on Earth. They may hear music so lovely that it is beyond anything possible on Earth. In these unearthly realms, they may have what's called a life review, where they see part of their prior life. They may see their deceased loved ones. They may have joyous reunions that people they knew on Earth who died. And then ultimately, at the end of their experience, they often have to make a decision about returning to their earthly life or not.
Could the mind which splits apart from the physical brain be, in essence, the soul, which continues to exist after final bodily death, according to some religious doctrines? Let's now discuss the fourth scientific evidence for reincarnation, the phenomenon of consciousness. Many scientists today assume that consciousness is produced by the brain, but this assumption has neither been demonstrated experimentally nor explained theoretically to any reasonable degree of satisfaction.
But now there's an increasing number of scientists in various fields who dare openly to challenge this old paradigm, and we're moving toward what some have started to call a post-materialist paradigm. And now meetings are being organized and books are being prepared with regard to this post-materialist paradigm. So I can predict that it's only a matter of decades before we have a new scientific revolution, and this time it will be about mind, consciousness, and spirit. And it will be probably the most important conceptual revolution that we've ever had in the history of humankind.
Thus, scientific studies in these four fields offer strong evidence for the existence of a soul different from the body. No wonder that Austrian scientist Rudolf Steiner remarked, "Just as an age was once ready to receive the Copernican theory of the universe, so is our age ready for the idea of reincarnation to be brought into the general consciousness of humanity." For reincarnation to come to the forefront of global human consciousness, humanity needs a systematic understanding of the soul and its reincarnation.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Mataji. Okay. Yeah, so we saw, remember the guy was describing the out-of-body experience. So the body is there, but the consciousness is going through a tunnel and seeing a light at the end of tunnel and then seeing the beautiful things, some nice music. So not seen on earth. So where could the person actually traveling? The body is still there. So which means the soul is the consciousness. The consciousness is a symptom of soul. Okay. So these are all evidences of reincarnation, which means the soul can change body, can travel out of the body and go to another body. Okay, so that's the evidences. Okay. All right. So, sometimes when a dying man cries out, why? Because according to karma, those are very sinful. They can see horrible sins in front of them at the time of death. Okay. That's why sometimes you can see people pass urine or pass stool, or sometimes they vomit. Okay, so this is how the life air goes out. Okay, so if they are very scared and they've had it is mentioned that if the person have been pretty sinful in their life, the life air will go through the lower torso, and if they've been pious, then the life air will go from the upper torso. Okay, from the eyes or ears or mouth, like that. Okay, so they see these sinful people, they see horrible scenes at the time of death. All right, and he will know that he's going to accept some abominable type of body. They probably will get that kind of indication. This is what Prabhupada has explained. Okay, for the devotees, they will die without any anxiety. That's because the knowledge that they have. This is the people who have no knowledge. Okay, because they don't know what they don't know, what is lying on the other side. But the devotees, they know with the knowledge that we have learning now, we will know what is on the other side. So we know how are we to live and where are we going. Okay, so for this is Bhishma Dev. He was actually waiting for Krishna to come so that he could see Krishna before he leaves the body. Okay, what was the boon that Bhishma Dev had? What was the boon? Anybody? What boon is that?
He will decide when to die, I think.
Yes, God Icha Mrityu from his father. Okay, so he can decide when he can leave. Okay, so similarly, when Prabhupada was leaving, as you can see, nobody is crying here. Somebody is reading books. Okay, Prabhupada was surrounded by lots of Krishna's pictures, devotees reading books, Bhagavatam. And not only that, Prabhupada was also giving Bhagavatam. This is the tape, this is a recorder. Prabhupada was speaking into it until the very last. Okay, so he was not worried of the next journey. Okay, and then we had Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj also. He was also diagnosed with cancer, and he was accompanied by kirtan devotees, and who else? And then recently Pankajangari Prabhu also passed away. Also similar send off, like Indra Mataji also shared just now when the mother passed away, and it was a good send off. So when you say good send off, it's because it's spiritual. They know this person is not going to, the soul is going to die. The soul is going to take up another journey, is going to take another body, or probably would be going back to the spiritual world, back to Krishna. So we will never know. But whatever it is, the best we can do is the reading and chanting. Surround them with reading and chanting at the time of death. Okay, so question may arise. You devotees are dying, and the non-devotees are also dying. So what is the difference? Of course, when you see the two pictures there, you will know what are they anticipating. So that's the difference. But another way that you can explain is this picture. Anybody can tell me what is this picture? I'm going to show another picture, but let's see whether you can already break the code, decipher the code. Okay, I'm giving you both pictures. What is the difference? Both also in the mouth of the cat.
One is the rat is dying. The kitten has just been, carried instead of, dying.
The kitten, Mataji, Ajay Mataji, you getting something? I can hear you thinking loud. How do you decipher these two photos?
Oh, I think probably the pain the rat is having is gonna be cruciating compared to the kitten.
Okay. What else?
They're both in the mouth. They're both in the same position. They're both in the mouth, but one is dying and the other one is actually not being carried. That's actually a very gentle way of being carried. So if you are a non-devotee, then good luck to your death. If you're a devotee, then at least your death will be probably not as painful as the one dying like the mouse. Maybe that's what they're trying to say.
Nice one.
Painful, Mataji. Whether it's devotee or non-devotee, it's in pain. But let's talk about the consciousness of the rat and also the kitten. Probably we can look at it from that angle. Of course, I will give you the answer, but I just want to know, I know you all very smart. So I just want to hear from you all. Okay, the clue is, how about the consciousness of this rat and also this kitten?
The rat knows it's going to die, but the kitten knows that it won't die in the mouth of the mother. But the rat is definitely going to die in the mouth of that particular cat.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, all of you are correct. Okay, a cat catches the kitten in its mouth, all right? And it also catches the rat in the mouth. So the process is the same. Both are in the door of something very fearful position. But there's a difference of that catching. The catching is same, but there's a difference, which means the mouse is feeling death. Oh, now I'm going to die. I'm so fearful. What's going to happen to me, like that. But the kitten will be thinking, oh, my mother is carrying me. I feel so safe, like that. So that consciousness is different. So although both devotees and non-devotees, they die, both also die, okay? That is the real problem, right? We die. There is a difference of feeling at the time of death. Okay, the feeling, just like how the rat is feeling and how the kitten is feeling. Okay, both of them not dying the same way. The bodily process may be the same. I mean, the devotee is dying and non-devotee is dying. Bodily process may be the same. The pain will be the same, but the mental situation is different. Okay, so that is the point. Mental situation is different. Okay, so we can bring back Indra Mataji's example before and after she became a devotee. So before, she was only able to tell the exact answer the person was asking. But in the second phase, she is giving the person what the soul needs. So that is the difference. Okay. So we also want to do that. Okay, we want to give them what the soul needs, and then so that the person, because the person already fearful. Okay, if we are not devotee, we are very fearful. But if we are devotee, then we will know. Okay, I'm embarking on a new journey. Okay, if my life has been very good, then I have nothing to worry about. Okay, so let's have somebody to read this. This is also another difference how a devotee is thinking about dying. Who have we not heard of from today? Everybody read already. Yashoda Mai Mataji?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Now Krishna says, Tiras tatra na muyati. A sober man is not perplexed at the time of death. If you prepare yourself for death, why should you be perplexed? For example, if in your childhood and boyhood you prepare yourself nicely, if you become educated, then you will get a nice job, a nice situation, and be happy. Similarly, if you prepare yourself in this life for going back home, back to Godhead, then where is your perplexity at the time of death? There is no perplexity. You are know, I am going to Krishna, I am going back home, back to Godhead. Now, I will not have to change material bodies. I will have my spiritual body. Now I shall play with Krishna and dance with Krishna and eat with Krishna. This is Krishna consciousness, to prepare yourself for the next life.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. So, this dying for devotees is like, I'm not going to choose from this 8.4 million wardrobe. I don't want to change my clothes anymore. So, I'm going to go somewhere that I don't have to have this body. So, which means I don't have to change clothes, and I don't have to feel pain. I'm going to feel happy. I'm going to associate with Krishna, play with Krishna, dance with Krishna, eat with Krishna. Okay, remember, material creation is just 1/3. Okay, and the rest is spiritual kingdom. So the spiritual world is much bigger. So we don't want to be confined to the small prison and very fearful and being very fearful of death. Okay, so here Prabhupada says, if in your childhood you have become a boy and then you become a youth and then you become an adult, so did you worry about it? No. And then from one job you jump to another job, do you worry? No, because you're going to have a better pay, better offer, better facility, better life standards. So if we can accept these kind of changes, then why can't we accept the change that the body goes through? Okay, and then we want to eventually stop this cycle. Okay, now, so how long are we going to go? We need to break this loop. All right, this is the solution, how to break the loop. Krishna already give problem, Krishna already given the solution as well. Okay, Punita Mataji, can I request you to read the
What? The whole thing?
yes,
Jankarvachani divyam evam yo viti tatvataha tvaktva deham punarjanma naiti mamiti so Arjuna. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. So Krishna says the only way you can break loop is coming back to my home. Okay, and tell me which chapter is this? What is the title of this chapter?
Transcendental knowledge.
Yes, very nice. This is where Krishna gives transcendental knowledge. Chapter 3 was Karma Yoga, and in between he gives transcendental knowledge, and then he goes to Karma Yoga, work in Krishna consciousness. Okay, so this is the solution. The conclusion of the previous two slokas. Okay, never mind. Okay, so Krishna is saying, why are we hearing so much about Krishna? Why are we discussing so much about Krishna's pastimes again and again and again? We are repeating the pastimes. Why? Because Krishna says, if you know my pastime, if you know my transcendental nature and activities, and then when you leave this body, you will not come back. Okay, look at this point here. One who knows the nature of my appearance and activity. So that is why we're placing so much of importance on discussing about Krishna, repeating his pastimes, because one who knows him this way, they will end their cycle of birth and death. They will not come back. Okay. So since we have gone through all this knowledge, this process, okay, information, we have gotten all this information. So at this point, you might want to reflect and see, will this knowledge of reincarnation make any difference in my life? So why am I learning all this? How am I going to change my lifestyle moving forward? Okay, so how significant is this change in my life? Okay, so a sober person, right? Diras tatra nahmuhyati. The last line in the Dehinosmin earlier, 2.13, the last line talks about a sober person is not bewildered by this change. Okay, he will think, why I want to live eternally? Why I have to die? Why does death take place? So he'll ask this kind of question, a sober person. I want to live a very healthy life. Why does disease come? This is another intelligent question a human will ask. I don't want to become an old man. Why does old age come? So he will ask this kind of question as well. So he'll say, I want to live eternally. I want to be forever healthy, and I want to be forever young. I don't want to be old. So this is what he wants. Janma, mrityu, jara, vyadi. Janma, birth, mrityu, death. Jara, old age, vyadi, disease. So these are real problems. Remember, one of our level 3 chapters is about comparing real problem and relative problem. Okay, so like we have now flood. For some people, flood is a disaster. For some people, we are very comfortable in our house, so it's not a big problem for us. Okay, but the big problem, the real problem is these 4 things: Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi. Birth, death, old age, and disease. Okay, one can solve any of these relative problems, but these real problems you cannot solve unless you take up the Krishna consciousness. And how do you do it? By understanding Krishna, by hearing. Okay, to understand Krishna, the Bhagavad-Gita is there. Everything is very nicely explained. That way, the life will be successful. So basically, to reiterate, understand that we are not the body. We are embodied within the body. The soul is embodied. The soul has gotten a body. Okay. However, we should not identify ourselves as the body. Okay. The suffering comes when we identify ourselves as the body. Okay. Mic is. So this is the story just now, right? The bird in the cage. Okay, for example, the bird may be in the cage, but what happens? The lady was just very busy cleaning up the cage, and she forgets. Okay, she forgets to feed the bird, and the bird dies. Why the bird dies? Because of starvation. Okay, foolish people, they will take care of the cage but not taking care of the bird. So the bird suffers starvation. So how does it relate to us? We are also starving. What starvation that we are going through? What these people are going through? You know, a lot of these are these are called hippies. You know, hippies. They can be they are from very rich family. Okay, so if money is everything, then why are they taking up this kind of thing? Why are they still seeking enjoyment? Why can't money give them enjoyment? So why are they taking up this? What are they starving from? Who can guess? What is the starvation that is attacking them? What is their starvation about? This is food starvation. Okay, starved, no food, die. What are they starving from? We are suffering from that starvation. What starvation is that? And unless, yes, Mataji?
Happiness.
Happiness. Happiness in the material world, remember, it's very limited and it's temporary. How do we feed this starvation? First, we need to know what starvation that we are going through. So there's nobody. Yes, Mataji?
Knowledge, Mataji.
Okay, that's probably a subset of that. This one. Spiritual starvation. Nobody is really happy in this material world. It's probably there. Remember, the happiness material is like what story? The GIF I showed a couple of weeks ago. What was the guy was suffering from? The happiness in material world. He was being, people were doing something to him. You know, he was in a pail of water, a basin of water. What was happening to him? So material world is like that. What was that? So we covered that example like 2 times.
A breath.
Mataji?
A breath. He was taking a breath.
The one who was
happened.
drowning.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah, the moment he comes up from the water, he takes a great relief and then he goes back into the water again. So happiness is material, is like that. It's just the absence of sadness. It's not an absolute happiness. Okay, so that is why in opulent country, you have enough food, enough residences, enough material enjoyment, but still they're becoming hippies like this. I think this is what they call smoking pots, something like that, and they are smoking here.
They are stoners.
What is that, Mataji? Stoners. Oh.
Yes, they are known as stoners.
So why they are doing this? Because the young people, they are not happy because of spiritual starvation. So materially, you may be very opulent, but if you starve spiritually, you cannot be happy. You can make a lot of arrangements, but it cannot ultimately make you happy internally. All right. So to feed this spiritual starvation, what is required? A spiritual rejuvenation is required. Can give me 2 examples how or in what way we can have a spiritual rejuvenation? Just two examples. I think one, I think everybody knows. Maybe second also you can tell me. Spiritual rejuvenation. How do we actually rejuvenate spiritually? Very easy.
Associate with the devotees.
Very good, Mataji. If you can remember the ABCD, it's there only. Okay, association of devotees.
Read.
Very good. One more.
Chanting.
Very good. Clever. See, I told you, right? This group is very clever. So
And
this
become a devotee.
spiritual rejuvenation. Okay, so we must realize that we are not this body. I am Brahman, means not the Brahman, the Param Brahman, not. We are the normal Brahman, the small Brahman. Krishna is the supreme Brahman. So that is the difference. We are spirit soul. Then you'll be happy. And in Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna says, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. Prasannatma means happy. Okay, then there will be equality, fraternity, brotherhood, so everything will fall in place. Okay, so our reincarnation chapter ends here. So after this we have some readings, so we'll have somebody to read. It's always a nectar of holy name in our section 2. Okay, let's go back to Kajai Mataji.
Okay, Mataji. Stop the transmigration by chanting. By chanting the Hare Krishna mantra constantly, one can fix the mind on the lotus feet of Krishna. Saivai Manaha Krishna Padaravindayo. And in this way, achieve the perfection of yoga. Otherwise, the flickering mind will hover on the platform of mental speculation for sense enjoyment, and one will have to transmigrate from one type of body to another, because the mind is trained only in relation to the material elements, or, in other words, to sense gratification, which is false.
Yes. Thank you, Mataji. Okay. The flickering mind, you see. The flickering mind will hover on the platform of mental speculation for sense enjoyment, and this way we'll be jumping from one type of body to another. Because the mind is already trained to enjoy only this material happiness. So until I think we cannot find material happiness, right? So, but we will, in that process, we will all jump here, jump there, jump here, jump there to enjoy it. Okay, so whatever we learn, we will try to share with others. Okay, Prema Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Parikshit Maharaja therefore anxiously wanted to know from Shukadeva Goswami how humanity can be saved from gliding down to hell. Shukadeva Goswami had already explained how people enter hellish life, and he could also explain how they could be saved from it. Intelligent men must take advantage of these instructions. Unfortunately, however, the entire world is lacking Krishna consciousness, and therefore people are suffering from the grossest ignorance and do not even believe in a life after this one. To convince them of their next life is very difficult because they have become almost mad in their pursuit of material enjoyment. Nevertheless, our duty, the duty of all sane men, is to save them.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. So the challenge is always there. We might come across non-believers, okay? But then we have scientific evidences, we have the statistics to show that reincarnation is true, okay? So I don't know if there will be people who still don't believe in reincarnations, but if there are, then we still have to continue sharing this knowledge. We don't give up. Okay, the duty of sane people is to save others, because we know how the soul is transmigrating through millions of species of life. Is exhausting. Okay, so we don't only save ourselves, we try to save others as well. Okay, this is the importance of hearing. Let's hear the last video from Prabhupada.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam. Yes.
Is that what ages then? Is the spirit soul is leaving the body to become older?
No, spirit soul is not old. The body is changing. That is the process. That will be explained. Dehinasmin datha dehi kumara jovanam jara tatha dehantram prati dhirasattanamayati. But spirit soul is evergreen. The body is changing. That is to be understood. Body is changing. That everyone can understand. Just like in your childhood, your body was there, that is this child, a different body. And when that child will be younger, that will be different body. But the spirit soul is there, in this body and that body. So this is the proof that spirit soul does not change, the body change. This is the proof. I am thinking of my childhood. That means I am the same I, which I was existing in my childhood. And I remember in my childhood I was doing this, I am doing that. But the childhood body is no longer. That is gone. Therefore, it is conclusion that my body has changed, but I am the same. Is it not? This is simple truth. So this body will change, still I shall remain. I may enter into another body. That doesn't matter. But I shall remain. Tatha dehantaram prati dhirasattvanamaya. As I am changing my body, even in the present circumstance, similarly, the ultimate change does not mean I am dead. I enter into another. That also explains. Vasangsi chinnani jata. Just I change. Just like when I was not sannyasi, I was dressing like any gentleman. Now I've changed my dress. That does not mean that I have died. No, I've changed my body. That's all. I've changed my dress.
So that's the end of our class today, Matajis. So yeah, again and again, Prabhupada repeats that I'm changing the dress and I am the same person. So ultimate change is when we die, we are taking another body. So that process will go on. Okay, Matajis, any questions? If you need any small books, please try to buy. Okay, let me stop sharing. Okay, any questions, Matajis? Are you all buying and reading the small books? Let me stop.
You MJ belum read